Hey fight fans, Cage Minds doing a review on the year of 2011, reviewing everything that happened in our eyes in the world of mixed martial arts. We'll get to the first thing that we had to talk about. We're going to say thank you to the retirees from this year: Brock Lesnar, Randy Couture, Matt Hughes, Chris Lytle, Kurt Pellegrino, and possibly BJ Penn, because we don't know where he's going with his decision. So thanks for all the great fights that you put on for us throughout the years, and best wishes on your future endeavors. Just like to highlight those guys and their great careers. Next thing, we'd like to again single out 3 fighters and thank them for just putting on great fights all year. Every time they went out in the octagon, it was war. Leonard Garcia, Pat Barry, and Dan Hardy, thank you very much for making all of your bouts so entertaining. First award that we're going to give out that not a lot of people give out: the biggest robbery of the year. This happened in Bellator, and this happened to Jay Haran. He should be the welterweight champion. He, in my eyes, did do more damage, did land more shots, and was able to nullify takedowns against their welterweight champion, Ben Askren. I felt that the judges really screwed the pooch on that one, and that was the biggest robbery of the year. So that award goes to Jay Haran, Ben Askren, Bellator, that whole situation. Most unique performance of the year award that we had, we're giving that to Ben Saunders for controlling his fight with Luis Santos from the bottom, using rubber guard. Most people would consider the position he was in disadvantageous. He took control. He even was able to win the fight later on with a key lock, got the submission, controlled with rubber guard, the power of jiu-jitsu. That was the most unique performance of the whole year. Another category that we have where there's a singular nominee is the comeback of the year. That goes to Cheick Kongo for surviving the onset of Pat Barry and then winning with that knockout. We all know it, without a doubt, comeback of the year. Definitely the best performance of Cheick Kongo's career as well. For surviving it, for overcoming it, great knockout win for Kongo. Now we'll go to some of our categories with several possible winners. We'll start off with the Breakthrough Mixed Martial Artist of the Year, and that is between Michael McDonald, Chris Weidman, Alexander Gustafsson, and Donald Cerrone. Also, we threw in there Ronda Rousey, Strikeforce Women's featherweight competitor. And they all had their bright moments. McDonald with his Alex Soto knockout. Chris Weidman was impressive against Tom Lawler and against Legionnaires. Alexander Gustafsson beating Matt Hamill and Vladimir Matyushenko. Ronda Rousey, though, she was a name that was always on the tip of our tongues the whole year, and did all of her fights that I saw in the first round with arm bars. No one can stop her. Can't wait to see her get into a title fight. I'd have to say the Breakthrough Mixed Martial Artist of the Year was definitely Ronda Rousey. She was dominant with finishing fights and always making headlines and news in the world of mixed martial arts. So we've got to put a giant spotlight on her career and the future that she's going to put for the women's mixed martial arts as a whole. Next, we're going to go to Submission of the Year. 4 candidates we had there were Rich Hale with his inverted triangle, Ben Saunders key lock, Chan Sung Jung with his twister, the first ever in the UFC, and Frank Mir with his Kimura of Antonio Nogueira, Big Nog. Obviously, like everyone else, I'm going to be a little partial to this one and go with Frank Mir because out of all the guys that were submitted in this category, Nogueira is the highest rated black belt. That had to be the hardest, and also the fact that Mir was rocked and then was able to hold his composure and gain the submission and be the first ever man to submit Nogueira. Definitely, without a doubt, Submission of the Year. Beautiful move by Frank Mir. Knockout of the Year. Our candidates: Alexis Villa, Carlos Condit, Pat Curran, Arthur Guseinov, Anderson Silva, Lyoto Machida, and Johnny Hendricks. Hendricks with the left hand. Machida with the crane kick that knocked Couture into retirement. Anderson's foot, Vitor's face. Arthur Guseinov with the spinning back fist that Tyson Jeffries and M1 Global will never forget. Pat Curran with his head kick to Marlon Sandro. Carlos Condit's flying knee to Dan Young Kim. Alexis Villa leaving Joe Warren stiff and frozen. If I had to go with a punch that landed the best, my punch of the year would have to be that spinning back fist from Arthur Guseinov. Out of the lower extremities, I'd have to give that knockout of the year to Anderson Silva. Like most people, though, all around, we're not going lower and upper extremities. I'd have to say Anderson Silva, knockout of the year. We never seen that foot to the face before. Fight of the year, the candidates are Diaz versus Penn, Henderson versus Guida, and Henderson versus Shogun. Chandler versus Alvarez in Bellator. That rounds out our 4. We know that Diaz versus Penn kind of one-sided, but they both swung for their hearts, swung for the fences, and kept going for 15 minutes. That fight was a fight that had, everyone at home and they're on their feet cheering. Henderson Guida, I don't know if anybody watched Facebook as much as they did to watch that one fight. It should have been on Fox. It was without a doubt the best fight that night. And Henderson versus Shogun, instant classic. Who would have knew the same night would have been the Chandler versus Alvarez fight, and for Michael Chandler to start out his MMA career and to be able to knock off a top 3 lightweight in the world, take the Bellator tournament and that title, without a doubt, that is the fight of the year to me. Both men swung back and forth. There really wasn't a 10-8 round. There wasn't really dominance. There was a lot of exchanging, a lot of heart, a lot of blood. My fight of the year was Chandler versus Alvarez. And then we'll go to the fighter of the year. We have the candidates: Jon Jones for everything he's done, Dan Henderson with the H-bomb, Ben Saunders for his destruction since moving from the WEC to the UFC, Nick Diaz through Strikeforce and that BJ Penn fight. Douglas Lima did win the welterweight tournament for Bellator. There's the Bellator middleweight champion Hector Lombard that finished every opponent he had. There is Eduardo Dantas, the Bellator bantamweight tournament winner. Junior Dos Santos did become the heavyweight champion of the world. And Alexander Storm-Shlemenko is a 2-time Bellator middleweight tournament winner who did win 7 fights this year and finished 3 of 4. Well, without completely going down everyone's credentials, I gotta say just flat out, Jon Jones did win it. He beat Shogun, he beat Machida, and he beat Rampage throughout the year. It's the best year that anyone's had, I think, in a long time. He is the fighter of the year. But like I said, all these Bellator guys, all the guys I named, they do not need to be left out. They all had phenomenal years. I just say that Jon Jones had the best. And also, Alexander Storm-Shlemenko really got to shine a bright light on him because I think he had the second best 2011 of any fighter, going 7-0, 4 finishes, 3 decisions, flying all over the world, Russia, in America. He fights everywhere. He's a true fighter. He had a spectacular year, too. This was the first year that Cage Minds existed. This was our first year of predictions. We did 240 predictions on fights this year. We're 153 correct and 87 wrong. 63.5% accuracy right now. I'm going to try to get that better. We're going to try to do better for everything next year. This has been Cage Minds. We're looking forward to 2012. Hope you are. Uncage the war within yourself, and have a good day.